Well, as always, as we have come upon this Friday morning, we find ourselves faced with way too many news stories for me to give you all of them in the next 3.5 to 5 minutes. However, I will give you some of them and then refer you to the 30-minute version of the news, which I email out to my subscribers. Did you know that the Coast Guard has awarded a polar icebreaker design study? Actually, these contracts totaling over $20 million went out to several different firms. They're hoping to have a design within a year and start constructing a new polar icebreaker by 2019. I thought global warming meant that we didn't need any more icebreakers. A teen snowmachiner apparently killed in a crash in Manokotak. He was out with another juvenile. They were racing back from a day of trapping, and he had gone ahead of the other teen. When that teen caught up to him and found that he'd been thrown from the snow machine, they got him to a nearby clinic, but he couldn't be revived. In another village in Alakanuk, a man was found dead just 50 yards from his home. He had apparently gotten his snow machine stuck and got cold. And he apparently, it's something that happens an awful lot in hypothermia cases, he exhibited signs of paradoxical undressing, where while you're really cold physically, you actually start taking your clothes off. So he was found lying basically naked next to his snow machine. The Fish and Game Board has asked the state to move Fortymile hunters 100 feet off the highway. We've talked about this earlier in the week, how the proposals to try to create a buffer zone around the highway to try to cut down on the unsafe practices and the waste and all these other things. I don't know where the fix is, but right now they're not using any more regulations on it. They're asking the actual enforcers to just kind of, as they write the rules, to just kind of write in 100 feet. And the whole point of 100 feet, they said there's no magic number, whether it's a quarter mile or 100 feet. You can count 40 yards. The point is to make sure that you're off the road, because the rule is you can't shoot on, from, or across any kind of highway, any kind of roadway. And people break that all the time. They see the animal, they get excited, they shoot. Well, they just want people to recognize you need to get off the road before you shoot. There are a couple of permanent fund bills that have kind of stalled in the Alaska Senate right now, showing this split in the majority, as some other people are saying we need to restore the money that was taken by Governor Walker. Alaska union membership has dropped to an all-time low, something that basically back in the 1940s, nearly half of Alaskan workers were union members. Now it's significantly less. It's, I think, around 10%. Once you can refer to the 30-minute news to get the exact figure in there. Point of it, though, is that Alaska's numbers are higher, and I think we're third in the nation because we have so many government workers that are in unions. An awful lot of other states have banned government workers from becoming a part of a union. The U.S. House, there's a committee that is urging the EPA to drop their opposition to the Pebble mine. Basically, the idea being that now that we've got a new person in charge of the EPA, Pruitt, that they need to just let it go. Let's move on and mine for gold and copper, and we'll figure out the fish thing later. Also, there was a proposal in front of the Fairbanks North Scarborough Assembly that would allow forced address changes for safety reasons. Some of these cases, the main access to a house is on the different side of the house than what the actual address is. And in some cases, there are some cabins that don't have any addresses at all, and they're saying they're going to have to force people to change their addresses because of safety. Tammy Wilson, representative from North Pole, is continuing her OCS battle, and she took a marathon session of testimony from people who've had stories of abuse and families broken up for no good reason by OCS. Now she's asking for more than just a review. She's asking Governor Walker to do the same thing he did with the National Guard and with the Department of Corrections, these full top-to-bottom investigation that actually resulted in some leadership changes. Also, Senator Sullivan has softened his stance on the Affordable Care Act, saying he's looking to repair, not fully replace it. And Senator Murkowski has told the legislature that she'll consult with Alaska leaders before voting on the repeal of Medicaid expansion. Chugiak High School has banned the Confederate flag. This after an incident a week or two ago in which some kids took selfies, some pictures with a Confederate flag on school property. And now they're just making sure that people understand, sent out to an email, that this flag is banned at Chugiak High School. Also, the council down in Kenai, the Homer area, is considering inclusivity at their Monday meeting. And while that may not sound particularly controversial, the idea is that anything basically is controversial in the wintertime in Homer. Lastly, the Alaska Aces will fold at the end of the year. When this hockey season comes to an end, so will the years of having a professional hockey team in Anchorage. That's what we've got for our Alaska News today. If you like what I'm doing, please support me either by buying a subscription at radiofreespeech.com or by becoming a Patreon patron. All the details here on the website. Thank you very much. radiofreespeech.com.